Hi guys, my name's Seb Tudor, I'm the man on the Silver Mountain, and welcome back. Today we are back in Torment Tides of Numenera, and we're picking up pretty much straight after where we left off, and we remembered how we might be able to get through here, but there's one more freeze that I just want to take a look at. Oh, it tells us nothing. Okay, then let's go and slap our head against the wall. Put your forehead against the door, like you saw the first doing in your memory. You lay your hands on the cold stone, as the first Castoff once did, and press your forehead against the mural. The skin around your tattoo crawls, then burns, but even with your eyes clenched shut, you feel the air of the tomb stirring. And open. In we go. By the way, I know that there are a few other things that aren't...
I'm ready to learn something new.
Okay. Sanctuary achievement unlocked. Strange person coming to talk to us. Who are you? Raken. This woman is dressed in a functional Glaive's clothing. Her hair is cut short, and her face is muscular and tense. You recognize her instantly from Tash's Mere as Raken. She spares you but a moment's appraising glance before turning to your companion. Matkina, you've come crawling back. Didn't you swear you'd never return here? Or had you forgotten? I did promise, then I remembered that none of you have ever bothered keeping your vows to me, so what's the point? Anyway, what have you been up to? Burning a few villages full of innocent civilians, or have you graduated to grander atrocities? I'd kill her right here if I thought I could get away with it another time. Just trying to keep our creator, the coward, from committing any more of his war crimes as usual, looking at the larger picture instead of serving my own self-interest. Maybe someday you'll learn how to do that, though considering your friend here just muscled his way through a locked portal, making our sanctuary even more vulnerable to the sorrow, I don't think it's likely. You know you're traveling with a traitor, right? You can read no thoughts from her. They're muffled, as though something were interfering with them. What did you mean when... there are rumours the sorrow activity has increased recently. I don't buy the stories, but many of them do. Your brothers and sisters, your family, even if the sorrow isn't more active, it's still active, and they came here to be safe. I can feel your tides. I know you believe you're doing the right thing, but let me tell you this. Sometimes blindly rushing in to help people does more harm than good. The portal was sealed for a reason. Have some empathy. Go suck a dick. Did you have empathy when you ordered that village to be wiped out? Not the right use of the term. You're as bad as some of those the psycho extremists that I talk about in other videos. Jeez. Why do you care what I think? I had my reasons. And no doubt they're good reasons, important enough that you'd threaten the one place where we've been safe from the sorrow for centuries. Frankly, I'm not interested in hearing them. Oh, go suck a dick. Ran into Barakiel. She said that she tried to get in but couldn't. Well, how very useful of you. Next time I want someone informed that I have a message for them but cannot send it, I know just who to come. You're a terrible person. Here to find Mazov. Where is he? Get out the damn way. No one has seen Mazov in over a decade. Therese might know where he is. Talk to her. Therese might be the best of us. Treat her well, or I'll be sure. Oh. Tell me about this person I'm going to talk to. You whiny, useless NPC dickhead. She has the qualities of the rest of us do not. A peaceful, idealistic nature. She wants only the best for all Castoffs. She rises above our rivalries. Her idealism is frustrating at times, but she has wisdom and insight in her gentle nature. Okay, well, bye. Something to say to your compatriot first. She stares at Castoff, studying her and her sisters. Now that our sibling rivalry is out of the way, let's talk about you. You fractured yourself on purpose, didn't you? Of course I did. Word of advice then, undo it. I've seen other people try to make themselves more than human, like the coward, for instance, and all it gains you is a lifetime of loneliness and centuries of regret. Never seen it work out for anyone. But you people will do what you must. Why would she take your advice? No one here trusts you. You don't trust me because you're fools. No, we don't trust you because you're an arse. There's a difference. I hate... Okay, there are some NPCs in games that people put in to be specifically antagonistic for no reason, to the point of being irrational. And especially when they're leaders or they're supposed to be powerful or whatever else, it doesn't make sense because they wouldn't have got into that position if they didn't at least have some means of controlling other people. Yeah, she stood here by herself, and apparently there were people willing to do things on her behalf. And yet, just from this conversation and from the actions that we've seen previous, there's no suggestion of why that would be the case. She doesn't seem to have any additional powers or potency above any other normal Castoff. And she's one of seemingly the older Castoffs, in which case, you know, a more advanced model like ourselves, in this case the last Castoff, you know, we're a more up-to-date model. We're something that the changing god has developed specifically based on what he's already had and where he wants to go. And as a result, you know, she's not going to have any of those potent qualities. She's not going to have like a big standout in regards to personality from what she's saying at the moment. And she's just assuming her own greatness. And I bet you anything we will come across other characters that gladly buy into that, and it bugs me just a little bit because it makes the characters instantly unlikable and it puts them on one side of things. It makes them very easy to just pocket as an extremist, and you don't need to use empathy, you don't need to use understanding, you don't need to think about the way that they're acting and their motives, because they are just plainly an arsehole. But I have one more thing to say to you, because of course you do, because you just won't shut up. And I want you to mark it carefully. The changing god, the coward, intends to kill us all. Understood. If you meet him, don't trust him. He's going to ruin us as surely as the sorrow. I'd wish you success, but I'm an arsehole, and I'm going to walk away thinking that I'm amazing for no reason. Well, thank God that she's gone. And as if the changing god thing was a... you know, that's some groundbreaking advice there. Don't trust the guy that ditched our body mid-flight and let us plummet to Earth without any information. Yeah, you know, it's kind of a dumb thing to say, I feel. You know, don't trust that person that basically left you to get fucked. Ooh, you're cool looking. Are you a Vigellan Castoff or a mutant Castoff? It's hard to really see. There's Therese. Or Reese. I just want to... Because there are things to interact with and look at and stuff, but I just want to clear off some of the fog of war, as it were, just so that we can, you know, see what's around. It's a pretty place.
Yes, child.
I can almost guarantee it's going to get wrecked sometime soon. But,
Fine.
you know, hey ho. Right. Well, should we start from the beginning? Because we've got this dude over here, the Chalcedon, or Chalcedon, however you want to pronounce it. Here he is, the one I've heard about. But is he a resource or a threat? Dunno. This man is less flesh than muscle. running in corded bands from his thick neck down his broad chest, wide arms, and calloused hands. He focuses on you, his cold eyes flicking from your face to the shape of your tattoo to the width of your shoulders, like a prospective buyer sizing up a particularly dangerous animal. Then he smiles, and it is as wide and genuine as you've ever seen. The most advanced of our sire's children. Here at last. I'm surprised you didn't make your way here sooner. See? Someone gets it! A resource, of course, and a fine one at that. At least until he proves otherwise. Who are you? I'm the Chalcedon, commander of the Changing Gods forces in the Endless Battle. The guardian of his grand design and his champion. He raises a self-deprecating hand. Not that our sire truly needs my help, of course, but some here in the very land he created for us would rather acknowledge all he's done for us. Some of the disagreements can be resolved through debate, but not all, of course, not all. Excuse me. Have you seen the Changing God lately? No, but that's not unusual. His strategies absorb most of his time, which is why he leaves most of the work in the Endless Battle and the diplomacy in Miel Avest to me. And as you might imagine, he measures time differently than us. It's been a number of years since I've seen him. I doubt our sire has noticed. You almost don't spot the unease beneath that grin of the hurt. Has he forgotten us? Has he forgotten me? Oh, he's an abandoned little baby. Tell me about the grand design. As you know, he moves from body to body. Well, yeah, I found that out the hard way. He does this to test the capabilities of those bodies to their fullest to ensure their strength. Not too sure about that. And when he has done so, he gives them to us, gives us life, so that we might continue using them in service of his plans. He is like a sculptor honing his art. So you see, he's not flitting from body to body like some manner of vapid insect. Each cast-off is an improvement over the last. And that means, of course, that you are the best of us and the most suited to help us end this conflict. Saddest, most obvious begging I've ever seen. The sorrow will find us. Before that happens, we must end our conflict with each other. We must prepare our defences. We must find some way to stop it. Okay, I can't disagree with that. I mean, that sounds like a pretty good idea. Let's you know, this thing's hunting down all of us. Let's get together and work it out. Looking for Mazov. Okay, of course. Our sire told me of his plan to build it. Of the plans to build it. I should have known. Speak to Therese. Okay. Okay, so all roads point to Therese, but we'll talk to other people as well. What's this? The wind around the structure is oddly moist, and there's a smell you can't identify. An unfamiliar meat, perhaps, spoiling in sunlight. And there is something else, an acrid, silent tingling, hanging in the air. The feeling of power held in reserve. Examine the structure. It's probably a solar battery of some description. You reach out to touch the sloping side, but hesitate. Strange. The surface is smooth, inviting even, and yet your instincts tell you that something within the structure wants you to touch it, to come inside, to yield, to fall to the earth, exposing your softest parts to... You stumble back, shaking your head. Lady Shay. Yeah, you don't want to do that. None of us are sure what it is, or why the first left it behind. I think it's a last-ditch defense against the sorrow if everything else fails. Others say different. Feels nasty enough, doesn't it? Touch the structure despite your misgivings. Gritting your teeth, you ignore the repulsive waves. That was an odd sound. Pushing at you, and firmly place your palm on the structure's surface. Eyesight deserts you, and you fall, toppling into bottomless darkness through clouds of slimy, probing bodies They pry at your lips, suckle at the moisture around your lips, and scrape urgently at your eyelids. Something clutches at your heart and crushes it. Is the last thing you feel.
I'm hurt.
On the plus side, we can see what's changed in here now, because the Erebus might have caused. Because, you know, we needed to find a way in here anyway, and when we get up, hopefully we'll just get back up next to Lady Shay and we can actually talk to her about it. I assume her name is like Shay or something like that. What's changed? So we've still got Saria here. Erebus. Let's go talk to the dude. Oh, apparently we leveled up as well. That's good. Oh yeah, Erebus needed to level up as well, didn't he? But okay, we'll do this first. Extra effort? No, we'll go for an ability first. What skills can we get? Stealth, running, quick fingers, law, machinery, deception, memories, healing, persuasion. I think we'll leave that for the moment, but we'll go for an ability. But oh, we can upgrade our onslaught.
Did I learn that?
Awesome.
Or remember it?
It doesn't matter if you learned it or remembered it. It's there now and it's fine. It's all that matters. The reflection before you resembles Erebus, but an unmistakably older version. No golden glow surrounds him. He is plain, weathered. His hair is streaked with grey and white. His mind is blank to you, dark. His eyes are wild with the weight of his thoughts, but you can't hear them, any of them. What are you doing in my head? You found my herding stick. I put it down before I opened the black box and the demons came out. They filled every part of the alcove and they filled me up. Most of them are inside me now, shouting and watching. You found the ones that were left. They brought me here. I don't understand what's going on here. Are you Erebus? Yes, I'm me. I'm the me that lived alone in the nameless field with his yol. He named them and tended them and clipped their yellow wool. A tear spills down his nose and drops on the ground. I think they're all dead now. No one fed them but him, and he's gone. I'm gone. A dark red light rises in his pale eyes. That was long ago, before the demons came out of the box and filled me, before I was called to adventure. The louder words tear themselves out of him, and he recoils from them, covering his ears. The glow ebbs from his eyes, suddenly as it came. That's one of the voices I've been hearing in Erebus' mind, isn't it? He nods and clutches his ears. They're the loud ones, the brave ones who make me be brave. The other ones whisper, they watch, they're hungry. Indigo flickers at the centre of his pupils like a distant bonfire. They want me to die. Erebus' mouth doesn't move, but the words seem to come from him anyway, hissing from the depths. You want to be free of them, don't you? No, my life will be boring, useless, without them. Yes, please, I want to go home. I want to find my yol and go home. Drive them out of me, please. I don't want to be me anymore. I want to be him again. Why can't I hear your thoughts? I don't know. I think they're holding them, living in them, infesting them. You mentioned yol before. What is it? Herd creatures, soft yellow wool, milk and cheese. My herd is lost now. I think they're gone. Sounds like you liked being a yol herder. Not until I wasn't one anymore. I lived in the nameless field where my mother was buried. I liked making songs in my head, but I hated that field, that leaky house. I wanted to leave it all behind, to sing for people, for meals, in distant taverns. But now I wish I could go back there, sing to my animals and sleep where my mother slept. Do you have any idea what kind of demons are inside you? I don't, but I feel them, hear them. They glow and keep me awake. They shout and whisper, they live in my veins and cling to my spine. Tiny teeth. How did you end up with those demons inside you? One of my Yol wandered into that dead valley. Its tracks went around the alcove, and I decided to sleep there for the night. I heard sounds inside a dark box on a shelf, and I opened it. And ever since, I've been buried by them, by the others, by the other me, screaming and crying, never sleeping. I never found my Yol, and now I never will. They don't let me sleep, and I'm hungry all the time. They don't think of me as real. I'm their toy. How can I help you drive out those demons? I don't know. Find healers maybe, or doctors? Or use the tides of the relevant colours to blast them out of you, as seems to be the case. But we need to have some control over the tides for that to happen. So, you know, we've done that. That was useful. That was a useful death. Not like some of the others that I've had where I've inadvertently just murdered myself and had no real reason to and have just ended up getting back up again. You know, that was a useful demise there. Here we go. Up we get. Lady Anne, she tells me you touched the ferretry? I'd laugh if... okay, my deal is leaving. Okay, well... Let's talk to Lady Anne Shay. Look at this, our wayward brother in the flesh. She spreads slender hands. Delicate spiderwebs of metal thread run through her fingers, studded with circular nodes that look too purposeful to be mere jewellery. The name's Anne Shay, Lady Anne Shay. But don't let that scare you off. I sell rare Numenera and the place to rest at a fair price. I can also upgrade certain clothing and equipment, but that's a bit more expensive. This one will have spending money, I hope. Take a look at what I've got. My prices are high, but you look like someone who values your friends, and my work will keep them safe. So, what? The ferretry drew to me. It killed you, of course. It'll do that every time, by the way. Just ask Melmoth over there. One of my companions is troubled by demons of some kind. Anyone help? Can't say I've ever seen something like this before. None of us doctors, sorry. Are you royalty? Only in a technical sense. A few years back I did a favour for a type of person who can spin titles out of thin air. I told her I only wanted the money, but she insisted. So Lady Anne Shay, it's opened a few stubborn doors over the years, but other than that, I don't wave it around much. What are those wires all over your hands? Inventions of mine, cobbled together from parts, of course, like everything. These beauties are wired, well, not really, but, you know, into my head. I use them to build and fix things that are really, really small. I've had them almost as long as I've been alive. Okay. Yeah, I don't think we need a place to rest just yet. But let's talk about those upgrades you mentioned. Sure thing, but in case I wasn't clear before, I can't do much with what you're wearing. Your friends, on the other hand. Okay, so she upgrades. She'll upgrade them. My equipment is perfect the way it is. Of course it is, but there's perfection and tailored perfection. I can think of a number of small, understated touches. Do you know what? I would love that, but I still want to go back and get my armor back that I sold. If it's all the same to you, let's increase her stat pool, or his stat pool. Sorry. So just drop a couple into there. Chalcedon, you're doing well on the level ups. Well, she uses range stuff, and so she will increase her cipher limit increase and training and precision. Okay, that's cool. Choose 2 abilities to learn. Gain 2 damage to esoteric attacks. That's nice. Space warping pulse pushes pulls. Data's filling. I'm the smart one, so she can have the gravity manipulation. She can do that. That's cool. That's fine. That worked quite nicely. Should we talk to? In fact, can we take a look at your Numenera? Maybe she'll have another Exuvia, but maybe she'll give it to us. What's this? A living Exuvia. Oh, that's medium armor. Okay, so we kind of want the other one. I mean, we've not really used any of these, so I guess we could sell some of these as well, but they won't really. Actually, we can sell that. That's only 2 speed points. Now we've got enough for it again. Why can't you just get... Okay, fair enough. Yo, I don't think we really want any of what she's selling at the moment. But we've got enough to go back down and get the other armor. At some point. Sees your companion and hisses, Matkina. What about this newborn Castoff could have motivated her to come back here? Melmoth. You know, I've always wondered, if you were to die, would your followers eat you? Yolan, for instance? How did that ever turn out? Yolan, ha. There's a name. Oh, he's the founder of the Dendra Ahur. Okay. Something about my memory, a trenchant and witty comment about my powers of recollection, no doubt. You travel in bad company, sibling. Anger her and she'll find a way to scar you, even if she leaves no other mark on the world. Likely she'll leave pain. It's immortality of a sort, I suppose. Castoff humour, you'll learn. Well, you've got nothing really interesting to say, so I guess we've got Therese down there. We've got Elkashai. Andronis Sandhand and Raina. We've got more Castoffs. More Castoffs. Is that a person? No. Okay, so we've got a few people still to talk to up here, but I kind of want to go back. I kind of want to find a way back to the thing, but then it might be a trek back through. Do you know what? What we'll do? We'll talk to all these people, get what we can get, and then before we go and do the Endless Gate, we'll go and get our living armor back. Because, and this time I won't sell it, I promise.
I'll remember that.
You are most welcome here, brother. I am Therese. I am the peacekeeper of Miel Avest. Word of your birth and exploits has reached us here already. News travels fast in the Castoff world, as I'm sure you've already seen. I know your desire to speak to Mazov. I've even heard a rumour that you can alter the past, that you restored Matkina. This is strange to me, for I have 2 memories on the subject, one in which Matkina is whole, as well as we all know her now, and another in which her mind is incomplete. Perhaps my mind is the one that's incomplete. I remember it, Therese. The attack on Colne Village, where Page destroyed my friends. You remember that? In another timeline, Tash used his mind wipe on me. He filled my mind with holes so I wouldn't remember, and he ruined my life. I tell you that my memory of all of that time has changed. I'm whole again. Therese trusts only the new reality. She actually makes me feel less insane. But how do I know that our newest member hasn't simply used a different form of mind control to give you false memories? I have a Merecaster here in which Mazov is said to appear, but I do not wish to expose him to the dangers of an untested psychic. I have some limited psychic ability myself. If our new friend will allow me, I would examine your mind for the truth. Probe away. This will take but a moment. She places gentle fingers on your forehead, and you feel a swirl of colours thrill your innermost core. Kaleidoscope of emotion shakes you, a gamut of experiences recognised and echoed, magnified and reflected. When she removes her hand, her eyes are wet with tears. Forgive my doubt, brother. I believe you now. I believe you are capable of changing reality. Why would our sire have given him this ability? A side effect, perhaps? Or... well, one way or another, my character probably has the weirdest boner right now.
Making a note.
But if anything, this makes me more leery of handing you a brother's Merecaster. If you wish to speak to Mazov, you must prove to me that you can be trusted with the minds of one of our brethren. You cured Makina, but did you understand Tash? Did you take care of his innermost self as well? Before I can give you this Merecaster, I would have you speak with Melmoth Leviarm. It is my contention that we draw the sorrow to us with our abuse of the tides, which is why I do not use our tidal powers. I believe our use of these powers is inherently painful to those around us. For instance, was anyone with you when you awoke to consciousness? 2 people, an Aeon priest and a nano named Calestige. They were arguing as I woke. I'd wager any simmering tension snapped into sharp focus. If they were lovers, or, for example, they might have fallen deep into love's spell, but if they were breaking apart, your blast of tidal energy would have riven them, destroyed their relationship. That's what happened, isn't it? They were not arguing for nothing. Go see Melmoth, ask him about the tides. When you have done that, we will speak further. I'll do it. My companion Erebus is plagued by demons. Oddly, he is silent. Silent, sober, and looking at you. Erebus turns back to you. We do not like this. We do not like it either. What can we do? Nothing but dig deeper and deeper. No, only Castoff healers I know are elsewhere, tending to those who can actually be injured. My apologies. Okay. It's fair enough. Where's the creepy pyramidal structure? Been there for... As no one knows how to activate it or open it. Okay, fair enough. Okay, well, let's go talk to... Where's he gone? There he is. Let's go and talk to Melmoth about the tides. Sup, friend? Therese told me to come speak to you about the tides. You'll find none better equipped to answer the question, certainly. The tides are an inextricable part of us, and... Wait, she sent you to me? Interesting. Every time I talk about the tides, she argues with me, as if she'd spent a fraction of the time I have in studying them. What game is Therese playing? She's probably said that we bring pain through our existence. Let me enlighten you. Everyone brings pain through to others. I have experienced so many lives in memories, and one of the common threads in all of them is pain. Do we hurt other people? We do. But how do we differ from any mortal in this regard? Show me someone without pain and I will show you a corpse, and then I'll eat it.
Updated my journal.
We are imperfect. We leak tides, or absorb them, or both. Our powers impinge on the minds of others, upon their nervous system if you prefer. We draw strength from them. We change them in the process, and not usually for the better. This is regrettable but unavoidable. Therese might have said that the sorrow is hunting us because we abuse the tides, or some such nonsense. But if that is the case, we're doomed by the nature of our existence. If true, why not use the powers we have? Therese thinks that the tidal surge on my birth was responsible for devastating argument between two humans. It's entirely possible the tides are a psychic force, and when we're born, our minds snap into particular shape and force out the residue. An unprotected mind nearby might well absorb some of that energy and react in unpredictable ways. But what of it? Does this change anything in your life? Two mortals had an argument. Oh no, boo-hoo. I like this guy. It's an interesting set of perspectives here. From the look on your face, I'd guess one of those humans was you. He turns to Chalcedon. Don't worry, it would have happened anyway. All the surge did was overwhelm your natural defenses and push you into a decision more quickly. He stares at her more intently. Looks as if you've plenty of experience in making rash decisions already. If you're going to keep throwing yourself into things, you really ought to improve your defenses. Be prepared. Now a corpse eater is offering me advice? My thanks, but I will keep my own counsel. Yes, discard the advice from a man who is centuries old and has the accumulated knowledge of untold lifetimes. This is the best decision you've made all day, I'm certain. This is one reason why most of us cease consulting with mortals, except when we have to. We have such good advice for them and they always ignore it. Okay. How do you know so much about the tides? 1. I am hundreds of years old. I can devote this kind of time. 2. I am dedicated to knowledge. 3. I will do anything in its pursuit. 4. I learned to draw memories from dead people. 5. I sought the dead who could teach me about the tides. Follow the trail of thought. You'll find me at the end. That's how I know. And why do I do this, do you think? Let me tell you. Since you clearly wanted to ask, it's because the changing man thought the tides were important. He uses the tides to shape us. Do you want to know more about how you were created? I did, and so I researched the tides. The reason for this is that I am not an idiot, unlike so many of our siblings. Yeah, I can get behind what this guy is saying, but we've talked to him now. How are we doing for time? Okay, we've got about another 10 minutes or so. Let's go back and talk to Therese. Have you spoken to Melmoth then? What did he say? He said the tides are within all of us, and that we should use our powers as necessary. I imagine he called me a fool and worse. He has done more research into the tides than anyone else here in Miel Avest. Tell me, did he say anything else? He said I should ask where your powers come from, if not the tides. I awoke with them. They are not, as far as I am aware, any manifestation of tidal energies. It's not as though we have a measuring apparatus, of course, but I think I would know if I were using these forces. At any rate, I sent you to speak with Melmoth. Do you believe that he has conducted his studies with anything but his own power in mind? He seems to care deeply for the preservation of knowledge. So he says, and he has certainly gone to great lengths to do so. I don't believe in his position nor his conclusions, for he may well have inflated the results to justify his actions, but he refuses my mind's touch, and he rebuffs my attempts to inquire more deeply. My own personal views are, of course, irrelevant to the deeper truth that he has his own motives, and they may be purer than mine.
I'll remember that.
So I have another task for you. Andronis and Raina are arguing. The recent negotiations between Chalcedon and Page broke down, and these two have taken it hard. They are like to come to blows if they cannot be reconciled. If one strikes the other, the laws of Miel Avest are clear. The attacker will be evicted. I don't know if the Sorrow is truly more active, but they came here choosing safety, and it is my wish that they have it. Please speak with them. Will he control outside their minds as well, or will he let them choose their own path? Therese, of all of us here, you're the only one who doesn't seem to want anything, who isn't openly manipulating the others for her own benefit. So what's the play? You say we're free to choose and to our own choices. So what's the choice you are making? So what choices are you making? What do you really want? She's using everyone. She just doesn't want to admit it. Maybe it's vanity, or maybe it's something else. Hear Therese's answer. What I want is an end to our stupid internecine warfare? Yeah. I want us to work together. The squabbles between our sire and those who support the legacy of the first mean nothing in the face of the Sorrow, but getting any two of us together and the larger threat vanishes while our death creeps closer still. Miel Avest is a garden, a cage. The Sorrow can't come in, but we can't leave. Have you seen animals locked in a menagerie? They are restless, caged, yearning to be free. But if they leave the cell, they are hunted by their would-be keepers. So it is with us here. But instead of uniting to solve our problem, we lash out at each other. I would see us set aside our differences. You are my older sister, so I am cautious in saying this to you, but you have a certain reputation. Even among the rest of us, you are known to be hard, unforgiving. You carry grudges through centuries, even beyond death. Matkina, please, you need to let go. Nearly all the authors of my tragedies have been our kind. Our sire and his abandonment in my moment of peril, the first and her order to slaughter my village, Page, who bloodied her blade herself, Tash, who claimed to be my friend and turned on me, Melmoth, who offered me aid and betrayed me to the authorities. She turns her head to glare at Melmoth nearby. Need I go on? Do you always act with full knowledge, sister? Are your choices made rationally, with forethought, or do you react without thinking? Think on this, and think on what example you set. You can forgive them, Matkina, but never forget what they've done. Really? That's the message you take from this? Fine, I suppose. It's better than nothing. Sometimes, I admit, our kind can be supremely frustrating. Go and speak to Raina and Andronis. Perhaps in helping them, you can learn from them as well. All right. We'll do that. That's fine. We can go and have a word. And then maybe after we've had a word with this, we'll call it quits for now, I think, because we're approaching an hour. No, can I not talk to them? There we go. This man's face is flushed and angry. Veins throb on his forehead, and his eyes are focused on his companion. Stop talking, Raina. He spits each word, gripping his weapon belt with bloodless fingers. Stop talking, or I'll prove you wrong right now. He planned this. Ridiculous. I would have known. But it wouldn't do anything of. It wouldn't do anything. Wouldn't do anything of the sort, Raina replies, grinning as though she intends to eat the man whole and screaming. Even this argument is part of his plan. Do what you have to, Andronis. If not for the law, you'd already be dead. Traitor, fool. You child, you ingrate. A typical first militia response, angry indignation. Pardon me? What? Therese asked me to mediate your dispute. They react exactly like sullen children. Andronis folds his arms and turns away from you. Raina flushes and stares at her feet. Alright, tell us what you need to know. Well, first, what the fuck are you arguing about? The two watch each other warily for a moment, as if speaking first will somehow forfeit the argument. We mostly disagree on the amount of respect due to our sire. He arches a cold eyebrow at Raina, a silent question. She gives a reluctant nod. Okay, so you were the one that was getting angry. Tell me what's troubling you, Andronis. I just don't understand her, he says, flinging his hand in Raina's direction. The changing god abandoned us at birth, then fed us lie after lie when he chose to speak with us at all. She claims he has a master plan. I see a man who serves himself first and always. He doesn't care if we die. Even I care more if Raina dies than our sire does. Siblings, ha! Sharing that bastard's consciousness doesn't make us related. He barks a bitter laugh. Did you know that he sparked the whole war from my body? He got the first angry at me, then ditched this shell, leaving me to deal with the consequences. Good thing the first knows the difference between the face and the mind. But Raina, look, I know how she feels. The sorrow is hunting all of us. It's nice to think that the changing god has a plan to protect us. It's just not true. I know. Damn it, he says, turning away after a moment. You see why? There are tears in his eyes. None of us want to kill each other. You see that, right? His eyes harden. But if I have to choose between someone brave enough to stand against our father and her, I drop her and mourn later. Okay, so let's hear Raina's side. It's simple, brother. The endless battle is a test, and Andronis' side has been failing it for centuries. Our creator managed to annoy the first enough that she stormed off in a huff. He even did it in Andronis' body. You'd think that this big oaf of all people would understand that our sire was thinking. Or what our sire was thinking. The fact of the matter is our father created this sanctuary for us to protect us from the sorrow. But hiding isn't a strategy. Eventually we'll have to take the battle to it. And when that time comes, our father wants an army who will follow his orders without question. He allowed the first to spread her doubts, and the traitors among us have flocked to her side. Even so, I'm sure it hurt our father to discover that so many of his children mistrusted him. I imagine how that feels, knowing that you'd have to kill some of your children to save the rest. And that's it. Simple. Like I said, Andronis simply can't accept that his grand rebellion is all part of Father's plan. Can't accept that we owe our existence and ongoing survival to him. If you hate the sanctuary so much, why not leave? And he wants to kill each other. He wants to kill each other over it. Maybe he wants us to kill each other over it. Better to spend our lives in war itself. What would satisfy both of you? Neither of them speak for a moment, their faces identical sculptures. I don't know. Nothing you could say would make us take each other's side, and with apologies to Therese, I don't want to get along with Raina. I've hated her for too long, no offence. Honestly doesn't offend me, and we need a decision. You can't please both of us. Our points of view aren't ever going to line up, alright? Both of you must leave. She's right. Our side doesn't care about us. I want you to stop this argument right now. Do you really want to break the truce to kill each other over a point of view?
Making a note.
I want you to stop. They stare at you. Oh, that solves everything. Thank you for your wisdom, and I thought you were naive.
Let's go.
Common enemy. I mean, they're not. Neither of them are right. I mean, but they're both potentially right and also not right at all. I don't think they listened. Small wonder, given their relative age and known powers compared to yours. I doubt they'd have given you your words much credence, yet you offered them a choice, and that is important. To be free to choose is part of life in Miel Avest. We must own our choices just as we own our responsibilities and the outcomes of those choices. Before I can allow you to alter the course of a brother's life, I would hear your opinion on something which touches the lives of all our kind. You have no doubt heard of the endless battle, but what do you know about it? Why did they fight, and who is right? If perchance you have heard only a little of the conflict, you may wish to speak to our brethren.
I'll remember.
I've heard a fair amount. What's the point? The endless battle used to mean something. It used to be people with principles. But they lost sight of their true goals, and it became a self-perpetuating war machine. I don't think the First could stop it now, even if she were alive. It's worthless and stupid. I doubt either side knows what they fight for anymore, if they even care. Not an uncommon opinion, Matkina, at least among those of us who abstain from the fighting. What about you? Have you an opinion as strong, or do you wish to gather more information before giving? I can give you an opinion on the endless battle right now. Like any war, each side is trying to achieve its goals through force. It's war, senseless violence caused by pride. It may have mattered once. Remember Thalana and her men. The only purpose it serves is to ruin the lives of those it touches. Senseless violence caused by pride, because it's the Brachial and or Brachial or whatever her name was, and Thalana. They both had good points. You know, growth through conflict for an immortal being would be important. You know, you need to kind of distill and boil yourself down to being like the best possible thing. Not all wars are senseless. Sometimes war is the only means by which a group may achieve their goals. No, there is always a peaceful solution if both sides are willing to work hard enough, which is, you know, pretty accurate. There is merit in standing by one's opinion. Only be certain that in doing so, you do not shut your eyes. Yeah, keep simple, straightforward stuff. So, why do you think I have asked you this? No, let us start from the first task. Why would I tell you to talk to Melmoth when he ridicules my beliefs? You want to expose me to other viewpoints. Precisely. When we have incomplete information and are exposed to alternate opposite viewpoints, how do we judge which is true? We must reach a conclusion at some point, but unless those conclusions are backed with incontrovertible evidence, you must never imagine that you have sole grasp on the truth. And what do you imagine? To resolve a dispute. That is exactly so. My intention for you is to... blah, 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 blah. I'm teaching you how to be a good person. Then we come to the question of the endless battle. What purpose did that discussion serve? Challenge my beliefs with alternate viewpoints, perhaps? Correct. Astutely judged. The goal in all of this was to make you question your assumptions, seeing through others' eyes. It may be that nothing of import happens in Zerian's Mere. You might enter, speak with Mazov, and leave without altering him a bit. But even so, there will be other Meres. What if the next one is Melmoth's or Rayma's, or even mine? Whose assumptions will you take with you into that life? Whose goals will you accomplish, and at what cost? You have the power to change the course of a life, of many lives, without their permission or even their knowledge. You will have to weigh their desires against your own, deciding whether the needs of your life are more important than theirs. You will have to know with the utmost certainty and integrity, what does one life matter? Seek your own answer, brother. That is what matters most. Each life is important. Every one life doesn't matter. infinitesimal spark against timeless cosmos. A sad answer if you truly believe it, but I cannot disagree with you when I do not know the truth myself.
I'll remember that.
This mere caster of Castoff named Zerion. One brother looked into it once, reported seeing Zerion in a field of Oziphagan, and later speaking with Mazov. Okay, so let's call it quits here for now, because we are at nearly an hour again. So, thank you very much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video tomorrow. Take care. Thank you very much for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, then please drop us a like, subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the video tomorrow. Take care.